Hey, Tony with Tony's Car Care again. I'm back up in Michigan working on some of the Adam Wade collection. You can find Adam on rareclassiccars.com or Rare Classic Cars YouTube channel.
That's right.
I'm trying on my channel, I'm trying as I do this now is I'm trying to show people how to do it themselves so they don't have to hire someone to do it. So subscribe to my channel and who knows, you may see your car get fixed or a car like yours. So this is a 74 Mercury Marquis Brougham with how many miles, Adam?
This one's got 45,000.
45,000 original miles. And
it's a hard top.
Can I get you to turn the key on?
Yeah.
Just back on accessory.
Accessory or on?
Accessory.
Okay. There you go.
When you hear this sound, just the motor running and nothing happening and maybe a little bit of a click, it means that the torque pins have gone bad. They've crumbled inside your window motor. It's a very common problem on these Fords, Lincolns, and Mercurys from the very early 70s all the way through the 90s. It's really an extremely cheap fix part-wise. So I want to show you guys how to do it. Now on this particular car, this would be 73 and 74. You want something really sharp, like I'm going to use a knife because you got to pry these out of here, and you need something that's going to be real thin to get in there and just kind of pry to pop these covers out of here. And I see people looking for these all the time.
Do little escutcheons.
Because they break. So just be extremely careful. I already have a disclaimer with Adam. If I break something on this old car, it's not my fault because it's this.
I don't know about that. I'll blame you. Then I'll blame Tony's Car Care of Vandalia, Illinois. Because you're supposed to do good work according to your slogan.
Sometimes this stuff is so old and brittle that it just snaps.
This is why I hire Tony, because if I took this to a normal mechanic, I would be looking for new escutcheons.
Yeah, so we got both those out without breaking them. This looks like an extremely small screw here, like maybe 5/16 or 1/4 inch. So let's see what size we got. Here's a 1/4 inch, and that's what it is. Somehow I cut myself already.
Well, the blood is good for ratings, Tony. Blood and guts.
Now, I can tell you that this is 73, 74 only on this body of Mercury. 75, 6, 7, and 8. You don't have to take the pull strap off to get the door panel off. It's fastened from behind.
Again, another reason why I call Tony. Who else knows the intricacies of 73, 74 versus 75 through 78 Mercury Marquis vehicles?
Okay, got the door strap off, pull strap. Now, twist your lock plunger off. It's just spun on a little metal threaded rod. I'm going to ask Adam if he's got a Band-Aid so I don't bleed all over his upholstery.
Minimally, here's some paper towel, and I will go see if I can seek a Band-Aid.
Okay. Okay, Adam got me a Band-Aid. I'll live, and I'm not flipping you off. So, get yourself a Phillips screwdriver. You got one Phillips screw here. And I say this on all my videos, and I'm going to continue to repeat it. Always use hand tools on this plastic. Don't use power tools because it's too easy to break something. I mean, I guess it's fine if you want to use power tools to take it off, but don't use power tools putting it back on. unplug your lighter. We got the ground and the power wire. And look at this. We've got one nut missing and another one almost backed all the way off. The switch was barely hanging on. Normally you would take a socket, and I believe it's something odd, like an 11/32. Let me see. I don't have an 11/32 with me, so we're gonna guess like a 9mm. Yeah, a 9mm would work on that. And honestly, these are usually pretty tight.
It's got a lock washer on it, doesn't it, or no?
It does have like a little locking thing there, but is this a factory, like, hey, let's leave one off and leave the other one loose, or has someone else been in here? We don't know.
You always find factory treasures. Yeah. Last time you found a paint repair ticket in the back
That's
seat.
Right, yeah.
That was good.
So we've got another Phillips screw right here in the center, below the inside door handle. That was pretty tight.
Somebody on the St. Louis line really wanted to tighten that one, and then forgot the other car.
And lay your screws, like we're going to put this screw and this nut with the window switch bezel, and we're going to put this kind of in the center, so I know I took it out of the center of the armrest, because one of my pet peeves is when I go to work on something and someone else has already been in here and they don't have the correct screw in the right hole. That drives me crazy. So here's another one in the back. Well, there's supposed to be one in the back. It's gone. It's missing. So I'm thinking more and more maybe someone else has already been in here. Now, we've got a little, I don't know, Charlie, if you can, we got a little foam rubber filler that goes around the door handle. You want to pull that out. And I believe it is a 7/16 bolt holding this door latch or door handle on. Yep, 7/16. We're going to take that off. You take the door handle off first, so when you pull the door panel back, we don't get it up against this plastic armrest and crack it. So I believe that's all the screws that we need to take out. Now you can get these little tools like this. I believe I got these at Harbor Freight. They have metal door panel removal tools too. Again, I don't like using metal because you could scratch the paint. So you just want to get in here behind and slowly pry out and look to see where the metal clips are. There's one right here. Some of these are probably, more than likely, going to pull out of the cardboard, but you want to try your best for that not to happen because it could damage the door panel. One time probably isn't going to be bad, but if you take it off repeatedly, your door panels will eventually be destroyed. And that's a tight one. Now that I'm doing this and it feels so tight, I feel like the door panel has never been off. So why we've got a missing nut and a missing screw, I don't know. Okay, the plastic tool just broke. But it is from Harbor Freight.
This is why I employ Tony Lawler. Good news is there's another Harbor Freight not far.
It really feels like this door panel's never been off. I think we got them all. Lift up. Okay. This being a hardtop, we may have a screw back here. We do.
Now most people are going to, unfortunately, have the pillared hardtop, Tony, so they don't have to worry about.
There may be one there, but I don't think there is.
Yeah.
Because this one goes way over.
Tony did repair my 74 pillared hardtop as well. Actually, it was the same window. It was driver's side rear.
Okay. We got it all off. There's one pulled out here. That's what I mean. So you need to fold your cardboard back down. One stayed in here. So we have to get these out and get them back in the door panel. Adam, if I could get you to hold that over there so it doesn't fall.
Yeah.
I will try to get these out.
Door panel's pretty heavy, actually.
Well, it's a Ford product, Adam. It has good insulation and metal in it.
If it were a Chrysler,
it's not a
Tony,
GM. It's not a GM door panel. Chrysler probably had a heavier one than Ford did. Or heavier than GM. So we'll have to put that back in the door panel. We gotta get this paper off. If you can leave that tape fastened, do it.
Lastly,
one more to get out. Okay. Now, I don't know when they started doing this or why they started doing it. It looks like the holes are already drilled out to access the motor screws. There's 3 of them. Normally you have to take a hole saw, and Ford will have a little dimple, you know, something like this, but it's not all the way through. Normally you got to look for 3 dimples that shows you where to drill with like a 1-inch hole saw to access those motor bolts, so you don't have to take the whole regulator and everything out to do it. And it even tells you in the Ford shop manuals to drill at the dimples. So honestly, 74 is the only year that I've ever seen that's already got them pre-drilled. I had a 73 Mercury that I don't believe is that way. I've got a 78, I know it's not that way. So all of these I know from 1965 clear up through the 1997 Ford F-250 350. They're all 5/16 bolts. So let's see if we can get in there.
What are you doing, buddy?
And here's your window motor plug. You want to unplug it. Go ahead and shove this back. We're going to need the window up a little bit too, and when those gears are bad, you can usually just push it up out of your way. Pull it up. A lot of times they'll fall down. So there, we got it pushed up. We're on the bottom one. One 5/16. Right through the access holes. I get into so many vehicles, especially the 80s and 90s Ford trucks, where you see these rivets have been completely ground off and there's no paint left, where people think that you have to take out the whole regulator to change the motor when you don't. There's dimples. Even on the trucks, it shows you right where to drill to get to these. Okay, we got the motor out. This is a greasy, messy job. I didn't bring any latex gloves. So we're going to need more paper towels, and I'm just going to do it on the ground over here. You've got one Phillips screw right here in the top of the motor, the gear head. And they're not usually that tight. And I'm not usually doing it out on the ground.
Tony, I got a gift for you.
You do?
Yeah.
Well, it's a little late now, Adam. I appreciate it. But...
It's just like my wife says, you know, day late, dollar short, right? This will be a good video. We got grease, blood, guts.
Yeah. Then you just pop the cover off like this. Pry the center metal gear out. It's not in there tight. But see, we got these little plastic pieces broken everywhere. And I normally do this at home on a workbench with a vise. And I don't have a vise in this Ford Explorer that we drove up here. So I'm going to show you how to do it with a C-clamp. But it's way, way easier with a vise on the workbench. Clean all this out of here. This is Adam's favorite part of a Ford.
That's right.
This is his favorite Ford part.
Tony keeps telling me these are high quality, but then I have to keep hiring him to do this. Actually, they are good cars.
And you just got to rake all this grease and crap out of there, all those chunks.
Are you going to re-grease it, Tony? Or do you
No, that's what I was getting ready to say. See, when you get that out of there, there's still so much grease that you don't even have to worry about it. I mean, this 1974 grease has held up so well. You're never going to have a problem with it. Some of the 90s ones, I'll squirt a little bit more grease in there because they were a little bit more chintzy. But these 70 ones, there's plenty of grease in there. And if you just happen to have some grease laying around,
like molybdenum grease?
Go for it.
You want some molybdenum grease?
Honestly, Adam, I don't think we need any grease.
Okay.
I mean,
Lastly,
you can look at it.
I trust your judgment.
See all that?
Yeah.
Nothing's ever going to happen in there.
Yeah.
I mean, so I'm pretty sure we're safe.
I think Tony's just looking to come out here again next year.
Is that what it is?
That's what it is.
You haven't had any repairs from the last year's?
Well, I just don't tell you about it, you know. And I try to do it myself, and then I mess it up. Whoa.
I get these torque pins off eBay. They're all over the place on there. They're cheap. And honestly, once I've ever fixed one of these, I've never had another one go bad, ever.
They're nylon or?
I assume some sort of weird plastic. They're not easy to get in because they're extremely tight. And it's really not going to be easy using this C-clamp, but I did it up here last year for Adam. And I'm going to be working on cars in the motel parking lot tomorrow night. But I make house calls for Adam. So grab your gear and set it in there like this.
Going out?
And then you got to kind of set these in here cockeyed. I've never got these torque pins from this company either. The ones where I normally get them, the guy's wife had died and he was going to be out for a while. So I got these from a totally different company. The ones I normally get have a little bit of a tapered end. It makes it easier yet to get these started. But just get them started in there cockeyed like so. Like I say, this is the YouTube channel that I'm kind of wanting to build, is kind of a do-it-yourself type thing and show you step by step how to do these things. Okay, they're started in there. So we're going to take this C-clamp. We got Adam's son over there trying to drive already.
Yeah.
I think he's 3.
He's a little young for. He likes the Mercury though. I let him play around with my lease car.
I don't think that I ever told you, Adam. We were up here for Wesley's birthday last year, and when you sent the cupcakes back with us,
Yes.
it was late.
Yes.
So I put them in the refrigerator at the motel.
And you left them?
No, the next morning when I got up and opened the refrigerator, they fell out upside down in the carpet, icing and all.
You didn't have any?
No, so we didn't get any. So we'll be up here for his next birthday to get more cupcakes.
I may have another Mercury for you, though.
See, this is really hard to do without a vise on your workbench, but I promise it's going to happen. See, we're starting to get in there already. And you got to stay over towards the edge. You can't get on the shaft in the center or it's not going to go down. See there? Can you see that, Charlie? Is it sucking in?
Yep.
See, they're really tight. But, you know, it's nice to show you this way, you know, the hard way, if you don't have a vise on your workbench. See, that's what breaks. Those 3 little round torque pins, they call them. That's what's all shattered in there that I raked out. Why Ford did that, I don't know. I always tell everybody...
When did they start that, Tony? 71?
It was 70, 71, probably, maybe 71. I would say probably 71.
Because you don't have any issues with the 60s era.
No, I have a 68, and it doesn't have that. It actually has little springs in there that never break. And I always tell everybody, bump that window switch 1 or 2 times before you go up, before you go down. That takes all the play out. It runs the big gear around a little bit and just slightly bumps into them instead of just taking off and slamming into them. And I don't ever have any trouble out of my own vehicles because I've just trained myself to do that every time I roll the window up or down. So we'll get the cover back on it. Again, there's plenty of grease. We're not going to worry about sticking any more in there. There's a chunk we need to get off. But again, if it would make you feel better to squirt some more grease in there, have at it. It's not going to hurt anything. Put your Phillips screw back in. Going to get a clean paper towel. And we'll go over here and get this motor back in. I usually have a little roll around stool at home too in the shop. So it's hard to see, so you just go back in with the motor. You can get a mirror in there if you want to, but you're just gonna hold the motor, look through the holes, just kind of wiggle it back into its spot. Then you can put a little bit of pressure on the window to make sure the motor don't fall out. And we're going to go back through, and you can hold this in the socket with your thumb until you get to the window regulator. Another trick I like to tell people is you could take a piece of paper, a piece of masking tape, a piece of black tape, whatever, and stick it in the socket, and then stick this on it, and then the tape will hold this in there tight if you don't have a magnetic socket. I don't have a magnetic socket, but I'm just holding them in there with my fingers. But the tape won't allow it to fall out. These are normally just hand tight too. You don't have to torque them down with a ratchet. I got them out of there without using a ratchet. Bring your plug back through the grommet and plug it in. And it looks like we're still on accessory.
Yes, we are. You want some grease, Tony?
I do want some grease. This did go ahead and come off. I didn't want to undo the tape, but it did. Okay.
Look at that.
The window goes up. So, yeah, hand me the grease, please. You want to, on these, honestly, I think this is a hardtop thing only, this track here. I'm not sure that it's in the sedan, this track that runs down here. But you need to get this inside the door, or this is it too. You can squirt grease on your fingers and get around here, but you need to get it in this vertical track. And once you get it in there, you don't have to get it all the way up down because it's going to drag it up and down for you. And then bump your window down and get it in this one that runs across here. That stuff's ricocheting. Okay, I got my hands all washed up before I touch any of the interior panels. We'll show you the window does work. Always hit that window a few times before you go down. Hit it a few times before you go up. Takes all the slack out of everything. I went ahead and greased all these pivot points on the regulator here and here, and we've got another track in here. And anything you see moving, just grease it up real good. Alright, we'll get this paper back on. Get our wires through. We'll leave that folded down because that's where it wants to be. I went ahead and wiped this off and grabbed a few pieces of tape to stick on here too.
You want to change it already?
Okay. These tuck right in here. Moisture barrier. And got the door panel over here. And I've already put the clips back in that were pulled out. Feed your wires up through. Up and over the door lock. The wires fell right back out. Now, the fun part is getting these old wire clips back where they need to be. You just gotta kind of look behind there and find the hole. And you kind of want to get them all started. The later ones, like I know by 78 they were using plastic. You don't have to fight the clips near this bad. You got to smack it pretty good. I don't know if that one took. Okay, pause it. We're going to pop this back off and get this one back in. Okay, we got this one in. You have to go around the whole door panel and do the same thing. You got to make sure those metal clips are straight and in the hole and hit them quickly. And you're just better off to get down on your back unless you have a lift. And look up in there and make sure they're all going in. Oh. All the clips are in all around. We're going to go ahead and put this center screw back in. Again, no power tools, just slightly tight. Get your door handle back in. Got our little filler to put back in. There's that. Now we're missing that screw, so we're not going to put it back in. We'll go ahead and put this back on. Once it's snug, stop, so the rod doesn't come busting up through the center of that plastic. We've got our inside one here. There's that one. I'll go ahead and put the door strap back on next. Let's see, I think it was like so, not that it really matters. But you've got to kind of match it up to where it was on the material.
Because this car, that one, both the Lincoln, this one needs to do I have all the pieces for the H-pipe made. The Lincoln, it's just sitting for so long. When I first got it, it didn't run all that right. And I was accelerating, and it was super lean. It backfired into the muffler. Time to go. Time to go, yeah.
I have goose poop on me from the driveway.
Yeah, it's
Again, just snug. These are metal straps. There's metal straps going back behind here, but you're tightening up against plastic. The metal strap slides into the plastic.
quite a bit. I got 30 more.
And another tip, don't use these to shut the doors. Pull up here, if at all possible. Don't pull down here. Don't pull on these. Pull up here on the top of this door panel, because you're not going to rip anything off that way. Before we pop these back in, I'll go ahead and get all this back together. Your ground, your power.
I'm not looking anymore. This one, a friend sold me. That one, the viewer sent me. I don't even look.
And remember, we've only got one nut on here, but we're going to tighten it at least because it was loose.
Well, it's like, how do you pass up like that? Mine was got 8,000 miles.
I know. That's what I'm saying. It would have been right now. They have a preservation board.
Oh, really?
But I didn't. I was in contention.
That'll hold it because we don't have a nut like that here. I would in my shop at home. Under there with the clips. Put the last screw in.
It's tough to find. Yeah, cheap. I've got a radiator guy still, thankfully, but he's chain smoker, 70 years old. So every car that I have, that the radiator's original.
Very carefully snap these back in.
Because they're gonna go.
Just do it.
Just do it. Because he's gonna. He just likes
They
one
don't
cigarette
want to
after
go.
the other.
He'll live to be 120 though.
He will. He's a great guy. Every other word is an F-bomb.
Of course.
But I remember I first tried him.
There we go. The right rear window is fixed. Just like that. That's all there is to it. How long have we been going?
38 minutes.
38 minutes. So if you're doing it by yourself, just watch the video a couple times and tackle it, and you'll probably do it in a half hour or less, I would say. So that's all there is to it. Thanks for watching. If you like it, please subscribe, hit the bell at the top so you can see when I upload another video, and who knows, maybe one of your windows will get fixed on my channel. And thanks for watching.